Welcome back to another Watch This As You Draw. Today I'm going to be talking about a bunch of animated shows and movies, spoiler free of course. Let's see if I mention a fandom you're in. A candy kid asked me to include Grab Your Beads to the intro. Tell me what you guys do while watching these videos and I can include it in the next one. So grab your art supplies or crochet hooks or gaming consoles or homework or beads. And let's get started. I have been sitting on this first speed paint for months. If you guys want to see more of my art, follow me at Stargazer on Instagram. The Amazing Digital Circus. As of writing this script, I've just finished episode 7 and geez. No spoilers, so I won't get into that, but if you know, you know. It's amazing the heights this show has reached in such little time. The Glitch team as a whole has been really big, even before The Amazing Digital Circus, but this show definitely put them on the map. If you somehow haven't heard of The Amazing Digital Circus, which I'll now be calling Digital Circus because that's a mouthful, I'll give a descriptor. From Glitch, The Amazing Digital Circus is a psychological dark comedy about cute cartoon characters who hate their lives and want to leave. The characters are humans that got trapped in this digital world. Every episode features them being subjected to whatever wacky adventure the AI named Kane has set up for them. The episodes feature some comedy and silliness with the characters, but also have some sentimental moments too. You really feel for them and their situation. There's themes around mental health and personal weaknesses as well. Let's talk more on these characters actually, because if they weren't as strong and entertaining as they are, I don't think this show would have managed to blow up as it did. I think my favorite character has to be Kane. He's so absurd, and I find his jokes the funniest usually. He's also really mysterious. He's quite unassuming personality-wise, kinda giving comedic relief, but you also get a sense that he knows more than he lets on. He has a lot of control over the characters and their minds, but also claims he can't alter much about them. I just side-eye him. I hope we learn more about him and his motivations. Which leads me to my next point actually. It seems like the show might be about to give us some more lore. Most of the episodes so far have been okay. I wouldn't say filler exactly, but we've mostly been seeing the characters going on these adventures. We have learned about the world and the characters throughout this. It's built a good foundational knowledge on who these characters are and how they act and react in certain situations. But we haven't learned much about why they're in the circus and if/how they could get out. There has been hints throughout and enough information to build theories though. I probably won't get into these theories in this video because I think that edges into spoiler territory. Back to the characters, another favorite of mine has been Pomni. She's got that classic main character / audience stand-in thing going on. Oblivious, curious woman. Actually, I don't think I'm that into the character, it's more so her design. The colors are pleasant and I like the shapes too. Speeding through the middle three, I think Kinger, Gangle, and Zooble are pretty good characters. I like the face mask gag with Gangle. She's so timid and emotional, I really feel for her. Zooble's just cool. I like their relationship with Gangle, how Zooble defends and supports Gangle. Kinger's a good comedic relief. I'm still thinking about the Guns episode where he said, "I'm right behind you, aren't I?" I want to learn more about his background the most. His job before the circus. What does he know? Now for the last two, which may be a controversial opinion. I am pretty about Ragatha, and I do not like Jax's character. Let's start with Ragatha. I feel like her character is getting quite repetitive. I feel like every time we're focused on her in an episode, we're talking about her people-pleasing tendencies and her friendship with Pomni. It's getting quite repetitive. I wish the show would go deeper with it, or just focus on a different part of her personality, or show her progress in letting go of that weakness, or even just show her getting worse. The Guns episode showed a bit more depth, but I don't know. I want to learn something else about her because it's getting quite repetitive. As for Jax, I'm just not into that character archetype of the mischievous bad boy. He pretends they don't care about others, but secretly really craves closeness. Actually, I think it's less so that I don't like the archetype, just that the show is following that trope so closely. I don't see any subversion of it. It's a predictable trope, and not gonna lie, it's hard not to cringe at this bad boy persona. Similarly to Ragatha though, it seems like now we're starting to learn about what made him this way, which, from what was teased, it sounds like it's going to be an interesting backstory. It also honestly kind of feels like Tumblr sexy man baits. Tall, skinny, mischievous, sly smile bad boy whose tough exterior will someday be broken. But yeah, that's just my opinion of the character. I am curious if any of you similarly dislike the character actually. Let me know in the comments if I'm not alone in this. For some positivity though, although I dislike Jax's character, I do like the dynamic it creates with the other characters. The way he just makes Gangle's self-esteem issues worse. Get a job. Stay away from her. His influence on Pomni as well. It's not that I dislike a mischievous character. Those tend to be my favorites, as you'll see from the next shows I discuss. I just don't like this specific one. I got a comment from Starlight Princess 728 saying,
The Amazing Digital Circus is one of my favorite shows. I've been there since the day it was announced, and it's changed the animation industry forever. All the characters, including Kane, have parts of them that allow people to connect to them on a personal level, especially with the masking and the idea of wanting to belong. I know that people complain about the lack of world building and a lack of a main story, which I disagree with. I also find the show has reached its intended audience now, and it's shown with the amount of views going down. Episodes 1 to 4 are the episodes I find that are designed to separate the target audience from the rest. The show isn't afraid to talk about hard topics as well and works in its favor. Hot take though, as much as I love it becoming crazy popular and allowed Glitch to do more shows, I do wish it wasn't as big as it is. I don't know, I just kinda liked when Glitch used to reply to the comments in fan art when it was smaller. The people I've met in the fandom have been really nice as well, but like other fandoms, there are the loud, toxic members. The fan songs as well are fire. Finally, the voice actors are amazing, even the side characters. I've met Max and Lululelu's voice actors and they were so nice. The main voice actors are also involved in the fandom, doing streams and just hanging out with the fandom. It's a nice change from other fandoms I'm in as well.
I don't think I've heard any of the Digital Circus fan songs. I should check those out then. Oh, actually, that is a great reminder. I don't know how I forgot to talk about how amazing the songs in this show are. Like that one that goes da, da, na, 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 da, na, 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 na. It is so catchy and grand. Like, I feel the dread that the characters are feeling. The ending song is also really catchy. I do understand Starlight's points about missing when Glitch would reply to comments in fan art when it was smaller. I think that's a general thing when a creator or company goes from indie to trending / mainstream. It's awesome that they have more reach and resources, but you do lose some of that cozy, tight-knit community vibe. I also got a comment from Piroshiki saying,
Recently got into the amazing... Ooh? Matthew Patrick got me messed up. Recently...
I'm keeping all of this in
is what got to him before I could. Recently got into the Amazing Digital Circus and I love it. Personally, Jax is my favorite since he's such a complex and tragic character. On an animation standpoint, the way his expressions work is extremely interesting, despite the initial impressions that he's pretty minimalistic in design. Drawing him correctly with the right proportions and aura is quite difficult to me, his face especially. Just in general, he's a really memorable character and there's no wonder why he's such a fan favorite.
You know what? I'll give that one to Jax as well. I do like how he's animated. I like how his pupils will grow and shrink in size depending on his emotion. All the characters are animated in such a Okay, this sounds stupid, but stick with B. They're all animated in this extra cartoony way. Like the expressions are really pushed, and so is their anatomy. It kind of reminds me of SpongeBob, how the animators aren't afraid to contort the characters to really push an emotion. Anyways, overall, I like the show, loved its pilot in episode 7, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I really want to learn more about this circus. Another glitch show, Knights of Guinevere. First, Guinevere's gotta be one of my favorite names ever. It's so fun to say. Anyways, let me talk about the actual show. I am so excited for this show. As of writing this, only the pilot is out, and damn, it is an amazing pilot. Let's read the description from Glitch Production. Knights of Guinevere is a psychological thriller set in the far future that welcomes you to a planet-wide amusement park in the clouds and the shadows beneath it, where a broken princess android might be two dreamers' tickets to better lives, or the end of them. Just the art in this show is enough to captivate you. I'm not even talking about the quality of the art, which is of course amazing, but the subjects. This pretty princess that glitches into a bloody robot, the intense blues and reds, all of these space landscapes. One of my favorite art concepts are floating islands and planets where you can always see the stars. The show looks so dreamy, which fits its themes of childhood nostalgia and false perceptions. One of the show's creators is Dana Terrace, the creator of The Owl House, which is my second favorite animated show, so I already knew I was going to be interested in this one. We'll touch more on the plot in a second, but a major part of it is about the corruption of the entertainment industry. So it's going to be interesting seeing what Dana Terrace sheds light on, as someone who worked at Disney. This one comment on the trailer says,
The fact that after getting her show canceled, Dana Terrace decided to go to Glitch Productions and then pitch an idea for a show about the exploitative nature of the entertainment industry is the biggest possible middle finger she could have given to Disney, and I respect the hell out of her for that.
I also really agree with this other comment I saw on the trailer.
I love trailers that give absolutely nothing away about the plot, but show just enough to get you hyped.
More on the plot line and themes. Seems like the show is going to be focused on the entertainment industry's corruption. The main characters work for the system in some way, with Frankie making park merch and selling scraps from the park, and Andy repairing animatronics. They live in a dystopian-looking area, smoggy air and everything. As for the characters, I'm already so interested in learning about Frankie specifically. She's a tomboy with this childlike wonder. She's very imaginative and very precious. There's also some mystery vibe with her incredibly vivid daydreams, sometimes bordering into hallucinations. I'm also into Andy, burnt out young woman. Through her character, we can see that people who work for the amusement park often face pretty bad harassment, with a guy spitting on her shoe. I also wonder what's up with that. It's clearly not a great job, with Andy constantly being stressed and burnt out, and it doesn't look like her job pays really well either, judging by where she lives. It seems like they're all struggling, but I guess it's easier for people to direct their anger at someone close to them like Andy, rather than a huge established Park Planet corporation. Also, Guinevere's design, oh my. Her gray skin reminds me of the moon, which fits the sci-fi and space themes. She's also got these big space buns, which people have pointed out as reminiscent of Mickey Mouse's round ears. The part about her design that I love the most is the dress. It's long and wavy. I love how it looks from the back. You can see more of those wavy, flowy shapes. She just looks so graceful and delicate, but not too prim and proper to play with the kids. She's a very convincing Disney-esque character while still looking unique. And oh my gosh, she's got a mermaid mascot form and her space buns turn into jellyfish. This is also Glitch's first 2D show, which is very exciting. They're already doing great with the style. Anyways, yeah, I'm already in love with the show and its art and its characters and its aesthetic, and I cannot wait for future episodes.
The one, the only, Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is my favorite animated show of all time. I'd say it's my second favorite show ever behind Desperate Housewives. Before I get into the show, let me tell you guys my issue. I have horrible memory when it comes to shows. There can be a show or movie that's my favorite of all time, peak television, actually a part of my identity, yet I don't remember a single thing that happens in it. I can barely give a synopsis. I'd say I typically remember about 20% of what happens in a show/movie I've seen a few months after watching it. I don't even consider it to be a bad thing though, because this means I can just rewatch my favorite stuff and I'll always feel like I'm watching it for the first time. Anyways, back to Gravity Falls, my favorite cartoon that I barely remember. I watched it when I was about 15 years old and I was hooked. I don't think any other show has creatively impacted me as much as that one. The part that stuck with me creatively most is the story itself. Oh right, let me give a synopsis. From Wikipedia, the series follows the adventures of Dipper Pines and his twin sister Mabel, who are sent to spend the summer with their great uncle, or grunkle, Stan, in Gravity Falls, Oregon, a mysterious town rife with paranormal incidents and supernatural creatures. The kids help Stan run the Mystery Shack, the tourist trap that he owns, while also investigating the local mysteries. I love a show that's set in the modern day with little fantasy elements, especially animated ones. The adventures the twins go on are really silly, and so are the characters they meet. I remember really liking the convenience store episode. I also like the structure of the show, with the first season being a pretty typical Disney show, not much focus on an overarching plot, and then in the second season, everything just fully kicks in and you watch the mystery unfold. As for the characters, oh my gosh. Mabel is one of my favorite characters ever, probably because I see myself in her. She's very artsy. I love how she's always got a different funky sweater on. She reminds me of the people that are into collecting weird socks. A few years back, I saw this pair of goofy socks with funny dogs printed on them, and I asked my dad if he could get them for me, and he said no. Fair, but like I could have been tricked out. That could have been my thing. Anyways, back to Mabel. I also like how honestly childish she is. I mean, she is a child, but just her silliness, I relate to that a lot too. I tend to have a thing for characters that are a little head in the clouds. I didn't watch the show as it was coming out, but apparently people really don't like Mabel. I looked at some Reddit threads talking about people's issues with her character, but I can't exactly get into any of it without spoiling the ending. Generally, sounds like people felt she didn't get consequences / learned from her actions like other characters did. I don't remember how the show ended, but I can believe that to be the case, yeah. Especially in shows with a lot of episodes, it can get kinda annoying when a character has some flaw, learns a lesson, and then it's like their mind gets reset between episodes and they're back to being flawed. Not that a character has to fully improve after one confrontation. I mean, a character doesn't even have to improve at all. It is also interesting to watch a character become a worse person as the series progresses. The key thing is, people want to watch a character change. They want the things they go through and the lessons they learn to actually impact them, because that's part of life, part of being human. If it seems like the character forgets the lesson they learned the last episode, it's like they're static or flat. I did say some people dismissed the criticisms by saying she's 12. Of course, she did blank thing, which I mean, fair. I feel that. While watching the Netflix show Ginny and Georgia, there are so many times where I'm getting mad at a character and I just gotta remind myself they're 15, because was I any smarter at that age? Not really. So I can't expect these TV kids/teens to act mature in these scenarios either. It doesn't mean we can't critique their choices though. It can genuinely be a frustrating watch sometimes. As for the Gravity Falls art style, I don't think I have much to say on the art style itself, but I do love the background scenes. I love forests in general, and the way they're drawn in this show, they just look so lush and perfect for adventures. I love the warm glow in some of the shots as well. It really gives that summertime vibe. And can we talk about their room? The A-frame? I love that. I'm really into bedrooms with interesting roof shapes. They're perfect for adding posters too. And it being a triangle shape is pretty perfect too because of Bill Cipher. Bill, let's talk about Bill. One of my favorite villains. He's just a silly guy. He's bringing doom to the world, but like, just let him live. He's funny. I really like his character design, even though my brother complains about him looking demonic or whatever. I think the canon human version of Bill Cipher looks so funny too. People were drawing him like this sly, skinny white boy, and then Alex Hirsch, the show creator, draws his canon human Sona, and it's just not at all what people pictured. He's just old and balding with rickety teeth. Speaking of Alex Hirsch, I didn't know till after watching the show that he voiced a lot of the characters in it. He voices Grunkle Stan, Seuss, Bill Cipher, and Old Man McGucket. Voice actors are just so cool to me. There's something about being able to manipulate your voice into sounding like all these different characters that is so fascinating. Like with that skill, you can just voice multiple characters in your own show. You don't gotta worry about casting a bunch of different people. And you can make the characters sound exactly how you have them envisioned in your head. I also like how active Alex Hirsch is in the fandom. Scrolling through the Reddit, there's people talking about nice experiences they had with him and reposting funny things he said on Twitter. He's pretty open about how Disney censored parts of the show. I don't think that's uncommon for Disney show creators. Now for some comments. Olive Gollin says,
My favorite animated show is Gravity Falls, a Disney Channel show about twins Dipper and Mabel Pine staying with their great uncle in a strange town for the summer. Despite only having 2 seasons, the show greatly affected my life. It's my special interest, and I consider it a part of my identity. The community helped me in a time when I felt strange and alone as a queer neurodivergent girl. The creator of the show, Alex Hirsch, inspired me to become a showrunner, which is my pipe dream job now. When my favorite character is Mabel Pines, she's my profile picture almost everywhere, and I've drawn hundreds, maybe thousands of drawings of her. I heavily relate to her, even more so when I was her age. She means a lot to me, and writing about her helped me through hard times. Ultimately, even something as seemingly dumb and inconsequential as a short-lived 2012 Disney Channel show can greatly impact someone's life, especially for young people.
I don't even have anything to add. This comment is basically exactly how I felt about the show. I especially like that point about how, especially when you watch a show when you're younger, it could genuinely affect your personality and identity. For this next comment, I'm only going to read half of it aloud because the other half of it is kind of spoilers for the book. That book being the Book of Bill. The part that's highlighted blue doesn't have spoilers. Lynette is Speak Name says,
I don't know if you'll include this, but here's my take on Bill Cipher. I really love Bill, and since this is a ramble, I'll give something pretty detailed. I adore how many facets there are of his personality. Not a lot of people spend time developing a true evil villain to feel like a person, but Gravity Falls succeeds, especially after adding the Book of Bill. He's a maniacal villain who steals every single scene he's in with his sheer egotistical, chaotic charisma. He's completely evil with almost no redeeming qualities. He tortures people, he has a death count in the millions minimum, but he still feels like a person. He wears makeup, he practices his speeches in the mirror, and he struggles with masking. Despite being a demon, he almost feels human. Not saying he's a good person by any means, but he is a person. His backstory is, quite honestly, one of the saddest backstories I've seen in any media.
This is such a great character breakdown. You're really good at noting these specific things he does that actually say a lot about his personality. Thank you for the detailed comment. Oh, fun bonus before we go to the next animated media. In grade 11, I made this sculpture of Bill Cipher. It is the best thing I've ever made. It came out so much better than I thought it would. Like, I feel like as an artist, it's basically impossible for the thing you actually make to come out better than the thing you imagined in your head. But I guess I got struck by luck because this is that piece for me. I can't explain the context this art is based on, but if you know, you know. It was so fun to make as well. I cut up and painted cardboard to make most of it. I also used this powder to get this cement texture. I have no memory of what the powder exactly was, possibly plaster, and I used wire for the arms. I'm going to have to make another sculpture again someday. This was so fun to make. Now for my second favorite animated show, The Owl House. I watched this show shortly after finishing Gravity Falls. I think if you're a fan of Gravity Falls, you'll probably also be a fan of The Owl House. They're both Disney fantasy shows. From fandom, Luz is a self-assured teenage human girl who accidentally stumbles upon a portal to the demon realm. There, she befriends a rebellious witch, Ida, and an adorably tiny warrior king. Despite not having any magical abilities, Luz pursues her dream of becoming a witch by serving as Ida's apprentice at the Owl House, and ultimately finds a new family and some new friends in an unlikely setting. I think my favorite part about this show is Luz. I feel like people's favorite characters in a show are usually the side characters. It's pretty default to say your favorite character is the main character, but I think it's fair here. Luz is just this bundle of creativity, joy, wonder, and passion. She just really likes witchy things. In the first episode, we see how she's othered because of her quirky interests and antics. Her mother was even considering sending her away, so these different parts of her can get straightened out. This brings up a big part of why the show was popular to begin with, its themes of diversity and otherness. The creator of the show, Dana Terrace, confirmed that Luz has ADHD. I'm not neurodivergent myself, but I've heard of others that say the show has a good representation for it. People connecting stuff in the show to their own experience with those conditions. I think the best part about these animated fantasy shows and movies is how everyone draws different metaphors from the magic. That sentence was so weirdly worded, let me try that again. Basically, how people can look at Luz practicing magic in ways outside of the norm for a witch and connect that to how they also go about life in a way that most people don't understand. It's relatable. I think stories like this are especially important because sometimes show creators aren't able to outright make a story about certain topics because they're considered sensitive or political or some other reason. So we get all these allegorical stories instead, and those who get it, get it. Another character I love is Ida. She's Luz's magic mentor and a mother figure in the show. Ida takes her in after she gets lost in the magic realm. She's a wild, fun woman and sparks a lot of the chaos in the show. In the show, everyone belongs to a coven. I got this information on the covens from Fandom Wiki. The 9 covens are the Abomination Coven, which lets you create and use abominations, the Bard Coven, which lets you cast spells through music and sound, the Beastkeeping Coven, which specializes in summoning, taming, and using magical creatures, the Construction Coven, which specializes in earth magic and the construction of structures, the Healing Coven, which heals wounds and cures ailments, the Illusion Coven, which casts illusions, the Oracle Coven, which sees the future and works with mind-based magic, the Plant Coven specializes in plants, and the Potions Coven, which makes potions. On top of all of these is the Emperor's Coven, the highest rank and the only coven allowed to practice any type of magic. I think if I had to belong to any coven, I would probably choose Bard. I feel like Oracle is the obvious choice here because, come on, seeing into your future and other people's futures, that sounds so overpowered, but I don't know. I don't need to know how things are gonna turn out. I'd rather not know and just let things happen. It just sounds anxiety-inducing to know what the future is and not be able to change it really, I guess. So yeah, I'd be a bard. Because what do you mean we're in a fight and I just start singing really good and beating you to a pulp? Like, imagine I make a diss track so nasty you literally die. Ida is not like the other girls though. She doesn't belong to any coven. She practices what she wants to, which kinda gets her in trouble in the show. She also has a curse which turns her into a monster. She has to take an elixir to keep it in check. Ida struggles with her curse and having to adapt to it is another parallel to real life conditions. Specifically, people see it as a metaphor for having a chronic illness. This is another illness I don't personally have myself, but I looked on Reddit to see what people thought of this metaphor. People connect her curse to chronic illness because it's a condition she has to manage and deal with every day. She has to take many potions, aka medicine, to deal with the effects of the curse/illness, but even those potions come with their own negative effects that she has to manage. There's also a theme of accepting that you have this illness and that you'll have to deal with it for the rest of your life, and the best you can do is manage it and treat its flare-ups. I think the acceptance part is the hardest part of all of it. Accepting that your life is going to be a bit more difficult than it is for others, and this is an unchanging thing. It's pretty heartbreaking and hard to accept. It's also hard to have to explain the condition and the symptoms you have to deal with to other people, like friends or family or colleagues, because there's certain things that other people won't truly be able to understand if they haven't experienced it themselves. And that could be a pretty isolating thing to carry on. And also the weight of feeling like a burden to the people you love. Anyways, that got too real. We're talking about a cartoon. Just this fun cartoon. Oh my gosh, Disney, yay! Again, I just love how much you can draw from real life and see the metaphor with all these magic systems. Honestly, despite listing all of these fantasy and magical series as some of my favorite series of all time, I'm not that into fantasy as a genre. Like, if you gave me the Owl House but live action, like the same characters, same stories, same beats and everything, I probably wouldn't watch it. There's just something about it being an animated show that feels important to me. Like, I just really like art, I like animation, I love seeing how magic is stylized, I love looking at all of the goofy character designs. Like, if it was a live action thing, having to see a live action king, I just don't think he would look as adorable. He would just look scruffy and not in a cute dog that looks kind of beat up way. Just a little ball of disheveled fur. But like him in the cartoon, he's adorable. I love King. I also really love Hootie. Oh my gosh, it's such a silly, funny character. I feel similarly about sci-fi. I mean, I don't even watch that many animated sci-fi things either, but I did see this one animated space movie. It's called Lost in Starlight. It's on Netflix. I love the art style of that movie. I'm going to try not to go on too much of a tangent because this is the Owl House section, but in the inevitable part 2 to this video, I will have to talk about that movie because it is so beautiful. You should definitely watch it if you haven't already. I'm not sure how much attention it got. Let's talk about found family. Luz, Ida, King, and Hootie make up a little family. I really like found family stories because that's just a very special, close relationship to have with someone, especially in these found families when there's different age gaps. So it's like someone's playing a mother figure, then you've got the chaotic sister and brothers in there. It's a full set. Like people say, you can't choose your blood family. Your mom will always be your mom, your dad will always be your dad. You can't exactly change them or replace them, but finding someone who is caring and provides for you and nurtures you like a mother or father would, that is powerful. That is deeper than friendship. That is a level of commitment and care and closeness that you can't find or expect in just any sort of friend. That's why they earn the title of family. Despite the Owl House being a popular show, Disney ended up kind of canceling it. It's kind of confusing to explain. Basically, the first 2 seasons were full season, like 20 episodes I think, somewhere around there. But then the 3rd season got kind of canceled, and instead of us getting 20 episodes, we got 3 long episodes. Because of this, The pacing of the ending and the whole last season was just kind of weird. It doesn't ruin the show or ruin its ending, but there is a common critique of it just not flowing well at the end. I can't really blame them though, because they thought they had 20 episodes to wrap up the story and they had to cut it down all the way to 3. I am glad they didn't get the Netflix treatment though, just fully scrapping a concluding season altogether. The amount of Netflix shows that just needed one more season for its story to be fully wrapped up in a neat little bow, and they just said, nah, let's just end this on a massive cliffhanger. I was watching this show anyways. I was watching. Bring back I'm Not Okay With This, please. Let me calm down. The show's never coming back. It's surprising what the Owl House, out of all shows, got cancelled too. I found out about the show because of how active and big its fandom was at the time that it was still going. Like the amount of profile pictures I saw for the Owl House in like 2020, 2021. That's the whole reason I started watching the show. It was inescapable in the internet spaces I was in. But I don't know. I don't know what happens at these entertainment companies, what makes them decide to drop a show even though, at least from the outside, it still seems popular. Another thing I like about the show is the school. I just love the idea of a fantasy school. Everyone practicing their own discipline of magic, the fantasy classes and fantasy games they play. It's all very whimsical. I kind of had a magic school concept in my head a long time back, but magic systems are kind of difficult to make, especially making one that actually makes sense. Not going overboard with the technical details of how it's made, where it comes from, who can and can't practice it and why, how it's taught, where it gets its energy from. It's just a lot to balance, but the Owl House does it well. Anyways, I probably have more to say on the show, but my memory is hazy. Last thing I will say though, Lumity is the cutest ship ever. I love their ship name too. I love that duo's dynamic. They are so adorable. A comment from Woodland Gloom says,
So as someone who entered their 20s during the pandemic, along with no longer having a job, I started getting more involved with fandoms and I found the Owl House thanks to TikTok. I loved the show so much. It had gotten me into drawing and writing fics regularly, and I met some really good close friends through it. My favorite characters are torn between Philip Whitbane and Principal Bump. Philip just has a lot of story to work with, and antagonists are just fun in general. And Bump's a cutie patootie, and I'd eat peanut butter for him. I'm allergic. But on a more serious note, I do adore Bump because he reminds me a lot of my 8th grade integrated humanities teacher, who is pretty much the reason I got into writing at all.
it's cool that a show got you into drawing. I don't remember if any particular show got me interested in art, but I do remember getting inspired by shows like Steven Universe and Hilda because of their art style. Also, that line about eating peanut butter for Bump is funny. Thank you for everyone who left their favorite characters and shows in the comments of the last video. The next Watch This As You Draw is likely going to be another general art commentary video like the first 2 in this series, but believe it or not, it is actually a little tricky coming up with stuff to say for these videos so that the video end up being 40+ minutes long. So therefore, please reply to the pinned comment with your art and art community opinions. They don't even have to be anything crazy or negative either. It could be as simple as, I love the rise of OC introduction videos. Just comment your little rambles and they may be included in the next video of this series. And subscribe so you don't miss that video. Last thing, I am always checking the comments of these videos even months after they're posted, especially the replies to pinned comments. So even if you're seeing this a long while after it was posted, I'll probably still see your comment and include it. Anyways, back to the apps. K-pop Demon Hunters top tier movie. I don't even know if I have to give a synopsis of this one because this has been so inescapable, but I'll give one anyways. From Wikipedia, the film follows a K-pop girl group, Huntrix, who lead double lives as demon hunters. They face off against a rival boy band, the Saja Boys, whose members are secretly demons. Let's start with the songs, which I believe truly made this movie as popular as it is now. These songs are so catchy. I believe a perfect pop song is one that will worm into your brain but also won't get annoying. I believe the songs in K-pop Demon Hunters perfectly fit into this. My personal top 3 would be What It Sounds Like, Golden, then Free. I can't really get into what I like about What It Sounds Like without spoilers, so I'll be brief. I mostly just like the line, "The song we couldn't write, this is what it sounds like," and the line, "We broke into a million pieces and we can't go back, but now I'm seeing all the beauty in the broken glass." Both fit into the movie's themes of accepting the bad and flawed parts about yourself. We'll get more into the theme of the movie in the next part. As for Golden, it gives a pretty good exposition for the movie and what the girls in this girl group are like. It's also just really motivating and feel good. The song Free is so romantic, especially in the scene that it plays in. Two people committing to being there for each other and accepting the parts of themselves that they dislike. I like the movie's theme of accepting the bad and flawed parts of yourself because it doesn't do it in the baby way of, "Oh, my worst flaw is that I'm so shy." Nah, some of these people have done some truly horrible, hurtful things, or they were born in a world where they're hated. It's something heavy to carry around, and it gives weight to those climactic scenes and character arcs. Like, towards the end of the movie, I was actually getting kind of emotional. Art-wise, the color palette of this movie is beautiful. It's got these ethereal blues and purples. I don't know if it's just me, but I mostly associate K-pop with pastel blues, pinks, and purples. It's like a cool magical girl color palette. Looking at the symbolism for blue and purple, they both invoke calmness and stability, which is a fitting choice for these hero characters. They've also got pinks, which invokes youthfulness and playfulness. Speaking of playfulness, I love how they aren't afraid to break the art style to make these girls pull these crazy, cartoony, wacky faces. It's very reminiscent of anime. It's also nice to see these female characters playing these silly roles that are usually reserved for male characters. 2 critiques. First, we didn't see enough of the other girls in this girl group. They show us their backstories, but honestly, it feels more like tell than show. I really want to learn more about Zoe specifically. She's this quirky art girl who's trying to balance her Korean culture with her American culture. I'd watch the whole movie just about her. Space Buns also really fit her personality. Also, Mira's family conflicts would have been really interesting to watch. I think a lot of us can relate to wanting a career in the art industry and how others, especially family, may not see the value in it. They may have these stereotypes in their head that you can't make much money or that there's just more respectable careers out there. My second critique, the pacing of this movie was way too fast. This feeds into the first issue about not really knowing much about the girls. We don't learn enough about their manager / Rumi's mother figure, Celine. We learn about her through exposition at the very beginning of the story, and she pops back up at the end of the story, but that's about it. It's weird because she seems to have really affected Rumi's view of herself and her self-worth. It would have been nice to see that tension rather than just be told about it. Also, do all demons have tragic backstories? Do demons kill people or just take their souls? We see these missing posters around, which implies that they're dead, but then we see the demons just seem to possess them or take their souls. Comment if you guys understand what these demons are and what they do to people, because I was really confused about that throughout the movie. Hopefully it'll get explained better in the inevitable second movie. Speaking of a second movie,
I'd personally rather we just get an animated show. An overarching plot line would be nice, but honestly, even just slice of life moments would be fun to watch. The only issue is if it was an animated show, I assume we'd probably get less songs. I think even outside of shows or movies or however they choose to create this franchise, I hope they still make standalone music. It doesn't have to have lore or anything either. I just want to hear more of their songs. Music videos would be nice too. I really like the animation style. I watched this movie twice within a week, once by myself and then once with friends. The great thing about musicals is that they're so rewatchable. Like, even if you know every twist and turn that the story is gonna take, it's still worth it just to listen to the songs. Speaking of, I was thinking about making a long commentary video just on Hamilton, if you guys would like to see that. It would probably be so long. I actually have so much to say about that thing. I would probably go through talking about each individual song and what I think of it. Let me know if you guys would want a Hamilton video. Last point. This one is kind of random. The Saja boys in their demon forms remind me so much of those thirst traps from 2020. Edgy, piercing, snacks, all of it. Even their human forms really fit the Gen Z gaze with their like little soft boy thing going on. Honestly, it's impressive that they managed to capture the Gen Z gaze in both their demon forms with the edgy look and their human forms with the soft boy thing. Anyways, to conclude, it's nice to see another big animated movie. I feel like 2021-2022 was the real peak for animated movies, with Luca turning red in Encanto, but we may be entering another big era for animated movies. I hope Netflix truly sees the success of K-pop Demon Hunters as a sign to make more animated movies and shows. Please not cancel the animated shows. I'm not going to forget what happened to Paranormal Park. My Little Pony, where to begin? Honestly, I haven't actually seen much of the show. Well, I did see the whole thing when I was younger and actually the target demographic of the show, but as of last year I started rewatching it. From Wikipedia, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is about a studious pony named Twilight Sparkle, her dragon assistant Spike, and her friends Applejack, Rarity, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, and Pinkie Pie. The 6 ponies collectively are known as the Main 6. They go on adventures helping others around Equestria, solving problems with friendship. My favorite part of this show are the characters. They've all got so much charm to them, and their designs really reflect their personalities, despite the fact that they don't wear clothes. I want to say all my favorite characters in order, starting off with the best pony, of course, Pinkie Pie. What's funny about Pinkie Pie being my favorite character is that originally when I first started watching the show, I found her so annoying. She was my least favorite character. I was actually hating on her anytime I saw her on screen. This all changed with one specific episode. It's from season 1, episode 5, called Griffin the Brush Off. She was pretty funny in that episode, and I started thinking, you know what? She's not that bad. I actually kind of like her. And then the more and more I watched the show, I realized, you know, we're kind of alike. So it's kind of funny to go from calling her annoying to saying she's the one most like me. What does that say about me? She's definitely the comedic relief of the group. Pinkie Pie's whole thing is loving parties and balloons and confetti and just joy. I love how she does this little hopping thing instead of walking normally like the rest of the ponies. She also has a lot of funny moments. My second favorite pony is Twilight Sparkle. She's another pony who's my favorite because I relate to her a lot. She's the smart, studious one of the group. Specifically, she studies magic a lot. The magic of friendship. I don't even relate to her because of the smartness. I wouldn't call myself dumb, but like, would not call myself that smart either. I specifically relate to her studiousness and anxiousness. She is so on top of things, but you can see how it comes from a place of fear. Like a fear of things falling apart and not being ready for the challenges that might come her way.
Like the amount of episodes that start with her stressing and trying to pick up all of her notes and trying to be on it when she has to meet with the princess. Like that one episode from season 2, episode 20 called It's About Time. In it, she's stressing because she forgot to put in time to make a schedule into her schedule. I don't know if that makes sense. Basically, she wrote a schedule, but in it, she didn't write in time to write another schedule. So now everything is broken and the world is gonna end. It's fun seeing little quirks of yours from an outside perspective. I also like the wintertime episode from season 1, episode 11, Winter Wrap-Up. We see her trying to do things the magic way, even though the whole point of the tradition is to not use magic. It's a moment of her showing a big flaw and one that kind of reflects badly on her as a person. Because she's going behind everyone's back to do this and it's quite deceitful and disrespectful. The other thing I relate to Twilight a lot with is the studiousness. Those who know me from college know how much I grind, specifically math courses. I calculated how long I spent studying for calculus last semester. I spent like 7 hours a week studying it, which added up to around 80 hours total studying just that course. And I would study that hard just to pull a 60. But yeah, that's what I mean by I relate to her studiousness, but not to the smartness part. I'm capable of really locking in on something if I have to. I was kind of torn on who to say is my third favorite, but I think I'm gonna go with Fluttershy. She's just so sweet and precious and cute. I love how caring she is for all the animals. It's so funny when she's trying to be all angry, but it comes out in just the quietest, softest voice. It reminds me of a teacher I had in like grade 2. She was the same way, trying to get the attention of all these little 7-year-olds fooling around. Like, guys, please stop talking and look at the board. I feel bad for soft-spoken teachers, especially when they have to teach a younger grade. I also like Fluttershy's design a lot. I love that soft yellow and pastel pink. I need my whole closet to look like that. My fourth favorite pony is Rarity. Not even because of Rarity herself, I just think the episodes surrounding her tend to be the most interesting. Like, one of my favorite episodes in this show is Green Isn't Your Color from season 1, episode 20. It's the one where Fluttershy becomes a model and Rarity gets jealous of her. I also like Rarity because she breaks the character archetype of a hyper feminine girl who's mean, like the Regina George type. I do like the trope. I like high school shows and movies, and a lot of them tend to have that trope, especially the ones from the 2000s. But it's refreshing to see a female character that's really into fashion and feminine interests and is also a nice person. I think part of why so many girls have this not like the other girls phase is because femininity and feminine interests are associated with being vain, mean, and just airheaded. So to avoid being associated with those traits, you swing all the way in the opposite direction and reject anything feminine. My fifth favorite pony is Applejack. She's one of my least favorites, not because I dislike her or anything. I just think the other ones are cooler. I do like the cowboy aesthetic she has going on. I really like cowboys. And I like how she is with her family. She's very loyal to them. Also, she's the center of one of my other favorite episodes, the pony capitalism one, the super speedy cider squeezy 6000. Damn, that's hard to say. It's from season 2, episode 15. And last up, Rainbow Dash. This one is hard to say. She was my favorite when I started watching, but now I find her kinda annoying. It's like her and Pinkie Pie switch spots. I think she's just too high energy for me. Like, Pinkie Pie is high energy, but in a silly way, while Rainbow Dash is high energy in like a sporty, competitive way, and I just don't care for sports, so I'm not really into that personality. She's very flaky too. I swear she's always on the brink of dropping her whole friends for the Wonderbolts. I think I'll leave it there for My Little Pony. I could see myself making a whole video on the show, so I won't get too into it here. Let me know you guys' pony rankings. I want to see if the people who watch me have a similar sort of ranking. For the comments, Tower of Light 7897 says,
I think if you're going to talk about animated shows, you should mention how a popular way of advertising for toys is to make a show. So many of my favorite shows were toys first, like MLP and Monster High.
This is true. I mentioned this in my last video, which was about Hex, but the downside to this is that a lot of the characters end up having the same sort of body type in the show, so that makes it easier to make dolls of them. Also, that video went crazy. Thank you guys for watching it. I'll definitely make more short videos surrounding the art and animation community. If you guys ever see something you want me to make a video about, you can DM it to me on Instagram at Stargazer. I recently rewatched Zootopia in preparation for Zootopia 2. It's always been one of my favorite animated movies. Also, Zootopia 2 was such a good movie. Oh my gosh. I would not mind getting so many more sequels for that one. Here's the description of the first Zootopia movie. From the largest elephant to the smallest shrew, the city of Zootopia is a mammal metropolis where various animals live and thrive. When Judy Hopps becomes the first rabbit to join the police force, she quickly learns how tough it is to enforce the law. Determined to prove herself, Judy jumps at the opportunity to solve a mysterious case. Unfortunately, that means working with Nick Wilde, a wily fox who makes her job even harder. Reading that description, I just realized that this movie sounds like a reverse furry Hallmark movie. Like instead, it's the small town girl moving to the big city. Also, with rewatching this movie, I didn't realize that Jason Bateman was the voice of the fox, which explains why Nick Wilde is on everyone's Hear Me Out cake. I can't even judge. The city of Zootopia is vibrant and lively. It really gives off that big major city vibe, like a place where all of your dreams will come true. I assume it's probably inspired by New York. The scene where Judy Hopps is entering Zootopia is one of my favorite scenes in like any movie ever. It's so memorable going through the city and seeing all these different animals living together, from like these tall giraffes to little hamsters, and seeing how the architecture is built so that it is accessible for all of them, every type of animal, all the different climates too, the subway. It just looks so magical. The story itself is interesting too. It has a lot of funny characters in it, and the twists are pretty good too. I also really like the bit with the sloth guy at the DMV. I'm rooting for these characters throughout the movie. Judy makes an amazing main character. She's just so optimistic and determined to make her dreams come true. Like, how could you not root for her? She's really inspirational. I also really liked Nick's character. You can't even get annoyed with how he toys with Judy because it's pretty cute. It's one of my favorite couple dynamics where like they're just teasing each other. You're also rooting for Nick to be better. You can see through his act, but it's still fun watching him try to keep it up. Actually, this is a good character to contrast against Jax. They both got that mischievous bad boy with a dark past thing going on. Maybe I like Nick more than Jax because he has more to him than just that archetype. He's smart, calculated, can be caring, and slowly and convincingly comes around throughout the story. A criticism some people have for this movie is its racism allegory. Some see it as a story about racism, with the prey representing white people and the predators representing black people or other people of color, and they see that as a bad allegory. Others retort by saying it's not only about racism, it's about discrimination and prejudice in general. I can see both sides of this. Let's start with the argument that this is an allegory for racism. Predators hunt prey. They harm prey. It's never unreasonable for prey to fear predators. For the lore of the movie itself, they say prey and predators learn to live together in peace and that they don't harm each other anymore. But even with that explanation, Intermission, animals in the movie still do act in ways that are stereotypical to their species, like bunny families having a lot of kids. As pointed out by this Reddit comment, we also do see strong animals in jobs that would require stronger people. Like most of the police force is made out of predators, so like lions, tigers, bears, and others. Even in the modern day of this movie, predators are still stronger than prey, meaning that some of those animalistic biology is still maintained. So if you're to take this movie as a one-to-one for racism, these animals are not equal, and concerns around predators being dangerous or aggressive aren't entirely unfounded. Whereas with real racism, of course, it's unfounded because every person is equal. Another point towards this movie being about racism is that the movie makes direct parallels to racism, like with predators being called well-spoken, which is a common microaggression, animals being told to go back to where they came from, racial profiling, and other stuff. Now for a counter argument, the story is about prejudice. This argument doesn't exactly dismiss the racism argument, it just says that racism is one of many topics that the movie tackles. According to Oxford, prejudice is a preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So think stereotypes and bias, whether conscious or subconscious. Racial prejudice is the most known type of prejudice, but people can be discriminated on based on basically anything related to their identity. In terms of prejudice allegories, I see Zootopia mostly as an allegory for sexism and racism. We already went over the racism allegory, but in terms of sexism, we can see how Judy is treated throughout the story. Judy is seen as too weak to be a good officer because she's a bunny. She learns how to adapt in the police training and shows that although she's small, she's just as capable as the other members. But even then, after getting into the police department, she's still given the minor safe jobs while everyone else gets to do the actual detective work and everything. Making parallels to the real world, we can look at other spaces where there's a male majority, like most STEM jobs and trades. A woman can be capable enough to get the job, but it doesn't mean that she won't still get talked down to, misjudged, or harassed. We can conclude this topic on a Reddit post by recent_marzipan5645. I think it nicely explains why this allegory leaves room for confusion and why this debate even exists.
I have seen people deny again and again that this is what the directors and writers were clearly going for in an attempt to defend Zootopia from criticism. Yes, the allegory is very broad and can stand for many things, but that's exactly what people criticize. It is very obviously about racism, but it never actually commits to it, so it just ends up being inconsistent at best.
Well, I think the general prejudice allegory works well enough for kids to understand. When you start to think about it deeper and look at the parallels it draws, it gets kind of shaky. Do you think the movie is a racism allegory or a prejudice allegory? Do you think it's harmful for them to even be making allegories about real-life discrimination using animals? Tell me your thoughts about this debate in the comments. I also rewatched How to Train Your Dragon a while back. I can't tell if I really like it because I have recency bias or because it's genuinely a great movie, but I'm just gonna go with the latter. From Rotten Tomatoes, How to Train Your Dragon is about Hiccup, a Norse teenager from the island of Berg, where fighting dragons is a way of life. His progressive views and weird sense of humor make him a misfit, despite the fact that his father is a chief of the clan. Tossed into a dragon fighting school, he endeavors to prove himself a true Viking, but when he befriends an injured dragon he names Toothless, he has a chance to plot a new course for his people's future. The parts that stand out to me most are the aesthetics and character of Hiccup. I am gonna start with Hiccup because I love this character so much. He's just this bumbling, awkward guy. Even his name is a synonym for mistake, yet he's the one who solves all the major conflicts throughout the movie. It's so satisfying seeing his progression with getting closer to Toothless. There's this part in the movie where he says he sees himself in Toothless, and it was just so sweet. Like, if you guys need a new soft boy to stan Hiccup. The voice actor also does a great job capturing his personality. His voice cracks a lot. Even when he is older, he always sounds so unsure of himself. This is such a random comparison, but follow me here. Vibes wise, he reminds me a lot of Otis from education, an awkward guy that's forced to take charge. Anyways, it's just really engaging watching him and Toothless character progression and his character design too. I love his hair in the second movie where he has the little braids on the side. He's a fun guy to draw even though I kind of struggle with the hair. It's quite spiky and I'm used to drawing really round shapes. As for the aesthetics, where do I even start? I'm actually not a big fan of non-modern stories and stories with like a medieval aesthetic. I don't know if medieval is the right word here. I don't know how medieval Vikings are, but you get what I'm talking about. Like those rustic fantasy stuff. But for whatever reason, How to Train Your Dragon still attracts me. I think it's because of all of those huge trees. I really like biking in trails, and so seeing these like massive trees and forests just really speaks to me. I think the visuals in the second movie are even better. We see a lot more dragon flying and it feels like you're actually up there in the sky with these characters. Also, all the snow and sunset skies are so calming. It just looks so beautiful. I really want to be there. Although I do wonder how these characters survive walking around in the snow with no gloves. I think their attire breaks my immersion just a little bit because I can barely survive 0-degree weather, yet these people are up in the sky on dragons. This movie makes me somewhat reconsider my dislike of medieval aesthetics and honestly stories focused around fantasy worlds as a whole. I think something that draws me away from high fantasy stories and deep world building is that I just can't follow it. This is a bit of a pivot, but it's part of why I can't get into action/fighting anime. I just don't care for the technicality behind the magic and the fighting techniques. I can appreciate how it looks from like an artistic standpoint, but I don't know, I'd have to have a whole wiki open to keep track of everything that's going on. I prefer something easy to watch. Maybe I should look more into animated shows and movies with this great world building and fantastical worlds. There's probably other shows and movies like How to Train Your Dragon that have expansive worlds but don't feel overwhelming with the level of detail. That's all I have for How to Train Your Dragon. For this video's hey, I'm not done yet. We're going to be talking about journaling. So recently I've been feeling like a little bit overwhelmed and anxious, and I was told, hey, why don't you try journaling? Just free journal, whatever comes to mind, whatever's in your head. And it's genuinely been life-changing. Here is my journal. This is like one of my best art pieces ever, and it's literally just made out of random scraps of cutesy Sanrio packaging. I just think it came out so perfect and it's so neat. We have this awesome page where I was just happy because I made a little strawberry hat, which I showed off in the last Watch This As You Draw. And as for the vent sessions themselves, when I first start writing it, I'm like feeling all these feelings, have all these thoughts racing in my head. I'm just writing everything. And that at the end, I'm like, that felt a little better. And then I get to add a bunch of stickers and doodles after. Let me show you some of those stickers actually. Here's some I bought just the other day. This container, it's full of stickers with Sanrio characters on them, and I organized them based on emotion. We got anger, positivity, neutral, special, and everyday life. I've also got one entirely themed around Kuromi. I'd really like a version of this for just my Melody because she's my favorite. Washi tape I just bought, and even more washi tape. If you're also having problems with just feeling a lot, I really recommend getting your own little journal to doodle and write in. It's been really helpful for me, and I just wanted to share that little tip I learned with you guys. On to the outro. I've got so many more shows and movies to talk about, so there's probably going to be 1 or 2 more of these just talking about animated shows and movies. Don't forget to comment what other shows and characters you're interested in for the next one. If you're in the mood for more art and commentary videos, watch anything on screen now, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!